Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to bind keys to your advertisements. So whenever you press that button, it will say stuff in the chat for you. And it's good because then when you even when you exit the game, you still have your advertisement typed out for you. So that's good for if you're buying quick sells and it's always the same advertisement, or if you're selling everything on a certain page and it's always the same advertisement. So what you do is you type bind quotation mark the key you want to use. I put the P key, quotation marks, space, quotation marks, say, and then space, and then type whatever you want it to say, and I just put a ton of random letters, but you don't want it to be longer than the line. You know, like probably right about here is, right about there is where it would end. And you'd put a quotation mark to end what you wanted to say. And you'd press enter and then it's bound. I'm not doing it because I already have my bound keys set up and I don't want to do anything bad to them, so. You don't have to go into the chat, like you don't have to open the chat, you just, when you're in a trade server, just press that key once you enter the server and it'll say it for you. So that's always useful. Don't use it to flood the trade server. It's also useful for if you have multiple ads, like for example, let's say you're buying keys but you're also quick selling stuff. You could you could type both your ads periodically by just pressing those buttons if you have it bound to a key. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you how to use the classified listings on Backpack. So what you do is you go to Backpack, you sign in through Steam, and you have your Backpack page. So let me quickly first explain why you would do this. You would do this to not have to be on trade servers if you didn't want to, or if your computer's pretty laggy, or if you don't have a mic or something else like that, or if you have bad internet connection. You can trade without being on the game even. So yeah, what you can do is you can, now you've signed in through Steam and you've gone to your Backpack page, you can scroll down and hover over an item and you can click sell next to the stats button. Now this one's already listed, but I can relist it to bump it up. I can't do it yet because it's not been half an hour yet. You can only relist them every half an hour. So let's see, what could, I don't know. Let's just put this up. So I click sell and then it shows me the real price of what it usually is up here. And so if it's usually sold for that, I'd probably just say I'll sell it for that. And in your comments, you would type what you want for it. Now I would like pure currency or slight item overpay. I would, like, if they're paying me in items, I have to sell those items to make my profit. So I would like slightly more than it's worth in items. And by slightly, I mean maybe a scrap or a reclaimed or something. That's normal item overpay. Or I would just ask for pure metal, and in this case they'd just give me a scrap because it's a weapon. I can choose add me to trade or send me a trade offer, and the difference between these two is they can add you and discuss it with you and trade you through Steam, or they can just send you directly an offer and it will appear in your trade offers page. Like I've got a few right now, and he's offering me that item offer for my thing, and you can click respond to offer, and I'll show you how to do trade offers in a second too. So I'm going to price check this. So that's 1 key, so that's a pretty good overpay. When my taunt is like 9 refined. So I would earn a lot by selling this. And it's painted, so I could sell it for normal price before another one. So I'm going to accept this offer because that's a very nice offer. And this is just a pure example. He's willing to give up some of his, wealth to get the item that he wanted. So I think that's pretty good. So now I have that item, and I would put it in the page, one of the pages that I'm selling. So I'm currently selling pages 4 and 5, and I've sold quite a lot of the stuff thanks to the classifieds. Now I'm going to look at my other trade offers. Let's see, so I've got my square dance. How much was that again? How much was I asking for it? I can go to my backpack and see 7 ref. So is what he offered about 7 ref. So that's 4.33 plus a torture's Talbad. I probably read Tabard. Sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, so that's a good offer because that's worth like 3. 4 and 3 is 7, and that's a slight overpay, so I'm fine with this. Let me check though that I had. Yeah. Okay. So I would accept this, and as you can see, I'm just getting offers for my stuff without even having to go on a trade server. But if you prefer the social trading, that's fine. And he's offering me for a rock, paper, scissors taunt, which I don't currently have in my for sale page, so I do not want to sell that. I had one in my for sale page, which is probably why it hasn't removed the listing yet, because I still have one in my backpack. So I would decline that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my listings and I'm going to remove that because I actually don't want to sell that. Otherwise I'll keep getting requests for it. So going into my listings now, and I will look for, let's see, what was it? It was the rock, paper, scissors. No, he offered on it when it wasn't on my for sale list, so no, I didn't want that. Okay, before I do business with these two, I'm gonna explain it further. When you go to a listing, you can choose add me to trade or send trade offer. You can, when you click send trade offer, you can click where can I find this and go to click here, and you can see create URL, and that's your trade URL, and then you would post that in your thing right here so people can send you a trade offer. And you can choose allow negotiation or offer buyout only. If it's buyout only, that means they have to pay what you asked for or they don't get the item. If it's allow negotiation, you can allow like them to kind of just offer on it about what you asked for. So let me show you how to request someone for something. So let's say I wanted to look for the Juju, and I see the classified listings down here. If I hover over one that I like, I can click this, send him an offer. He chose the send offer option, and he chose the add option. And when you click either of those, it'll, let you do that. So that's how to use the backpack classifieds to get what you want or to sell what you want. Most people won't pay for paint, just keep that in mind when you're selling stuff. I would advise you to not pay for paint if you plan to sell an item for profit. Unless it's black paint, white paint, or Team Spirit paint. Any other paint is like not worth it. If you have like, for example, let's say I have all these taunts that I want to keep, and I'm selling some that I got, I don't want to sell the ones that I'm keeping by accident. So the way to prevent that is once you sold one to go on Backpack and make sure you remove the listing. The listing will only remove itself if you have no more of the item you were selling. That, I think. You just get to sit here and wait, kind of. So if that sounds better to you, you can do that. You can also do it on Outpost, but I'm not going to do a tutorial on that because Outpost is a bit more difficult, and you should probably just use that when you're more experienced. I wouldn't recommend for any beginning traders to trade anything that doesn't have a backpack price unless you wanted to keep it and never see the currency you paid for it again. For example, if you bought a kill streak you liked, if you're not experienced enough to sell it, you're probably not going to sell it. So if you're going to buy something like that, buy it because you want it, not because you're selling it for profit. So let me talk about quick sells. Quick selling is when you sell an item because you need pure right now, or you sell it because you're tired of trying to sell it for slightly less. So I usually buy stuff with pure metal for a very slight discount. And when I do that, they get their metal right away, and I get to take my time and sell that for normal price and earn a slight profit on it. Quick selling, usually with unusuals, is like 60% off or something stupid like that, because they're really hard to sell. So it is with kill streaks as well. Don't do that. Not worth your time. Unless you're like super rich and you can afford to do it, which you probably aren't if you're watching this video. Yeah, so you buy quick sells with pure usually for like maybe a rec to 2 rec off, or maybe like a scrap, whatever you think. But with the classified listings, it's really kind of quick to sell it. You can just, or rather easy. You don't have to talk to people all day on the trade server. You can just put it up and get offers. There are certain hours in the day when you would get more or less. I've just got an invite. So everyone in my area is trading right now, so I'm getting a lot right now. This guy literally just friended me randomly. And this one's a key and slightly more because it has the paint. So I think that's totally cool. And it's basically equal. And I will say thank you for the nice offer. And maybe put a heart, but that's just me. You don't have to. And see, he's happy, I'm happy. Swear to God, these are real trades now, guys. I'm not staging them with ice anymore. That was only for demonstration purposes, and also I had technical difficulties with my recording software, so that took me a couple takes, so I had to do it. So you see now it shows that he's offline because he's unadded me because to not take up the friend slot. That's normal. He hasn't blocked me, he's just unfriended me because we're already done. You can also, when you're on a trade server and you have loads of things to sell, you can put it all on a couple pages and say, I'm selling everything on these specific pages of my backpack, and they'll look. And they shouldn't request anything that's outside of those pages. And if they do, just tell them, again, remind them again what pages you're selling. So now you can see how to create listings and put them up and relist them so that you can, have more offers and stuff. And this way you don't have to socialize on the trade servers. For example, if you're younger and you get made fun of for being younger and you're not taking seriously. No one knows what you're like on here. They just see the prices. So definitely go ahead and do that if you don't want to deal with people on the trade servers. Or if you're laggy, it's a really good thing to do because you can price check and take your time when people are offering you trades not on a trade server because they haven't got tons of trades to do at that one moment. And usually when they request you, they want the item a lot